Welcome to a new video series I'm trying out that I'm calling Sunset Drives. So the idea is grab whatever car I have that week, take it for a nice drive, and have a casual, fun conversation about a specific topic. The idea came to me the other day when I was trying out this new camera that I got rid of the GoPros that I've been using for many years, and I am trying out one of the DJI Osmo action cameras, and I was like, it'd be fun just to strap the camera to my head, go for a nice casual drive, have a conversation. And then I was like, wait, I think I've seen somebody do videos like that. And yeah, Tedward has done these POV kind of therapy sunset drives. So of course what I did is I texted him and I was like, hey, I had an idea kind of similar to what you've done. I don't want to just copy you exactly, my own little twist. Would you mind if I did something similar? And being the awesome person that he is, I was like, of course, go for it. So I said, thank you very much. I'm gonna give it a try. So the idea is, again, very casual, informal, not a lot of editing, just continuous one take. It's just me talking about a topic. I have a huge list of ideas ranging from things that are personal, business, career, mindset, so forth, and just having a conversation about it while we're in a usually cool car, going for a drive. I am currently in Southern California, so we're starting off on a high note because not only am I in a Maserati Grand Cabrio Trofeo, but we've got some of the best driving roads in the country, the scenery, and of course the idea to go out around sunset. So you get the evening light, and also if I can ramble on and talk for long enough, we'll actually get the sun setting. And at night, some of these cars have pretty cool ambient lighting, so you get a taste of both, what the car's like during the day, what the car's like at night, and of course the actual conversation topic. So big long list of things. The one we're going to do today to start off is what it was like going from engineering to marketing, my experience in my career that took me from being an engineer to eventually doing marketing, which I think is a interesting career path that I've got to experience. I think a lot of people have wondered what it was like and how I did it. So I figured that would be a great topic to kick off today's video. But I already have a list of about a dozen different ideas, again, ranging from career stuff, business stuff, mindset, some car specific things. So we'll start working through that list. And of course, as with any idea, video series, that type of thing, it will continue to evolve over time. So I welcome feedback, comments on what you thought of the video, and of course, suggestions. I also could do like a Q&A section too. But without further ado, let's get into it. So my background, I went to school for mechanical engineering. When I was a kid growing up, I was always pretty good at math and science and loved cars. Became obsessed with cars at a relatively early age, and not as early as some people, but also not like by the time I was in college. So I think the earliest I remember was like 5th or 6th grade, I became really interested in cars. I don't know if it was because I started watching Top Gear, reading the magazines or whatever. I did this giant presentation on Ferrari. We had like some sort of research project, and I picked Ferrari, and I did a whole slide write-up on every single Ferrari model and had pictures compiled and facts and figures, and that was my presentation. I think we were being taught to how to start researching and putting together things and what a credible source was and so forth. Again, elementary school, and that's how I remember doing a deep dive on the differences between the Ferrari 550 and then the 575 and then the Super America and so forth, right? And that cascaded into my high school and career and adult life as a college student. So when I was going to college, I was like, what do I want to do? Well, engineering sounds like a good fit, mechanical engineering. I could go work at an automotive company in the future. I grew up in Metro Detroit. So my dad worked at Ford, and my dad has a PhD in mechanical engineering. So those things kind of combined to also make me want to go into mechanical engineering and work at a major OEM. Now, my parents could not care less about cars. My family don't have any passion. My dad just happened to work there as a job, but they would bring me to take your child to work day and so forth. So I got to see the Mustang and so forth and all those different things. But I did not get it from family. But I decided to go into mechanical engineering at the University of Michigan. So I went to U of M for my undergrad. I say undergrad, I only have one grad degree, right? I just went to U of M. I did not do anything after that. But went for mechanical engineering, graduated in 3 years. I was very lucky that I took so many AP classes when I was in high school. I had dual enrollment, so by the time I was graduating from high school, I'd already finished Calc 3 differential equations. So I was able to finish in 3 years at U of M, and I had done an internship at Ford Motor Company. I'm actually gonna put the top down because, I'm in a convertible, so it's kind of a requirement, isn't it? Wait, how do I do that? Swipe and hold. There we go. So I graduated early from U of M and went to Ford as an engineer. I did an internship there on the transmission side. Ooh, windy. 1 second. Let me put the top all the way down. Oh, too fast. Up to 31 miles an hour. Oh my gosh, come on. I was not paying attention to my speed. There we go. Drop the top. Convertible top open. I'm gonna roll the windows back up. And then I'm gonna turn my air scarf on because the back of my neck is cold. There we go. Okay. So I had an internship at Ford on the transmission team. I remember doing transmission latch calculations. So like every little like gear, if it has like 0.7 degrees of play, whatever, that like multiplied through the entire 10-speed transmission equated to a certain amount of play on the output, right? And it was, oh my gosh, that was like my first eye-opening experience into what real-world engineering was like. And I was like, oh boy, this is a lot of math, but I guess that's what I signed up for. When I graduated from U of M, I went to Ford. They had a program, I think they still have it, but it was called FCG, Ford College Graduate. So the FCG program meant you rotated through various different teams and functions and jobs. There were about 6 months per rotation. I think it was either 2 or 3 years that you would do these rotations, and it was really cool because it gave you exposure to different parts of the company and team and different functional groups to give you an idea of what was out there and allow you to make a decision like, oh, maybe I would really like to go into vehicle dynamics, or I like whatever other team that I got to try out. So I was on the vehicle engineering side, and I did rotation on a platform that was the Ford Edge and the Lincoln MKX. Nautilus, whatever they called it back then. I did a rotation on the police team. That was actually a lot of fun. So like we had to go to the track, do some testing for, at that time it was still the Taurus and the Explorer police interceptors. There was like track testing where they would certify them for the Michigan State Police and so forth. I did a rotation actually on marketing. So this is where I kind of started to meander my path, because when I was in college, I started doing automotive YouTube videos. Met this kid, Parker. Parker was in, what were we in? I think it was differential equations. We were in the same math class, and he had a picture of a SLS on his phone, SLS AMG. I'm like, oh, nice car. And we ended up becoming good friends, and the YouTube channel Vehicle Virgins, during the course of college, we did a lot of videos, and it grew and grew and grew, and it was a lot of fun. I continued to do automotive YouTube on my own after graduation, and it was always this fun side hobby because, again, loved cars, loved talking about them, and just started to really enjoy creating content around cars. And automotive YouTube, you're like running your own little mini company, right? Because you have to do not only the filming, editing, the planning, the strategy, engagement with audience, emails, logistics, networking, thumbnails, other forms of social media. Like there was so much that goes into having your own YouTube channel. And I guess somebody at Ford figured out that I had a YouTube channel and I was working there as an FCG. So I actually did a little like talk with some the marketing team, I think. This was many, many years ago, so I'm just remembering kind of the high level parts of it about what it was like doing YouTube and how I went about doing it. Because obviously it's very, very different when it's just me with a camera versus a major OEM and the creative agencies and the massive teams that they have. So I did that, and I managed to get myself a rotation on the marketing team, which was a little bit unorthodox because you're supposed to kind of stay within your side. And I was a product development FCG, but I went and did this rotation. It was actually a lot of fun. We did some customer testimonial videos, got to go out on site and help get some customers and talk about what their ownership had been like with the Ford Super Duty. Some guy showed up with his Super Duty, his trailer, and he had this 993 like RSR race car in the back, and I'm like, this is so cool. Getting to interface with customers, doing the vehicle and the higher level stuff in marketing. So from there, I started to become a little bit disillusioned with being an engineer. It takes a certain kind of person to be an engineer. I'm actually getting kind of cold. I'm gonna go put the top up because we're coming to a stop anyways. Sometimes the roads here, due to construction, whether it's washout and so forth, they go into this like one-way alternating thing. So we're dealing with some of that right now. All right, top will be up and latched. That's pretty good, and the windows go back up. So the engineering thing, I don't think spoke to me as much as I expected it to, right? I came into it knowing, okay, I'm really good at math, science, I love physics, and I went through my engineering degree, and it was really cool. But real world engineering, I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm not loving this as much as I thought I would. So I started exploring some potential other possibilities. Like, do I go full-time into YouTube at the time? But I was a little bit concerned about the risk there, maybe the lack of stability and so forth. I wasn't quite ready to make that commitment. But what ended up happening was I went to a very small startup and took on a role helping out with marketing and sales. So I left a major OEM, Ford Motor Company, went to a tiny little startup, and it was a very big change in pace, right? Going from a big company where there are thousands and thousands of employees, and I felt like a little cog in the works, right? Like I was like, came to the realization that as just a regular employee, if I disappeared the next day, the company would be fine. I mean, that's true for most jobs, especially at bigger corporations, right? Nobody is irreplaceable. You have to understand that. So even when you get higher up, right, companies lose CEOs and VPs and CTOs and whatever all the time, right? And the company will find a way to go on, especially once they're more mature. If you're a tiny little startup and you lose your staff, you may not survive. Anyways, I realized I didn't love being just a small little part in the giant Fortune 500 company, and especially as an engineer, right? You're just a one little part. Like I design door handle releases or something like that. And it didn't quite speak to me, probably because of the experience that I had doing the YouTube stuff. So I was like, let me try something different. So I went to a small aftermarket company and kept doing my YouTube stuff. But eventually I gained more experience on that side. I got to take some courses. I kept learning. I kept experiencing different things, from learning how to develop websites and interface with dealers and the sales side of things, and running a company's social media account, all the considerations and trade shows and planning those things, logistics and so forth. I was like, this stuff is actually pretty interesting and fun. I think it was because it was combining some of the technical engineering background that I had and also the YouTube marketing product level stuff, right? When I do a car review, you're essentially just like evaluating a vehicle, talking about its pros and cons, the highlights, the downsides, the comparisons, how it fits into the marketplace, how it interfaces for a customer. And a lot of that is marketing, right? You're talking about the interesting aspects of a product, a company, selling the proposition, the value proposition, and so forth. And having the technical background allowed me to translate some more engineering speak or technical things to maybe something a customer understands. I could have that context from both ends. So it's really cool having that perspective. So shortly after that, the next step I took in my career was I was recruited by this company that does automotive tuning, diagnostics and calibration, HP tuners. I met at that time, the director of marketing, this guy named Andrew, and he had been promoted and needed to find somebody to be the director of marketing. And he saw something in me, I guess. To this day, I don't exactly know what that was that made him think that, actually, well, maybe I'm being too hard on myself, but he saw something in me and was like, wanted to hire me. So I was given the offer to move to Chicago, the suburbs of Chicago, and work as the director of marketing at HP Tuners, which I was extremely excited for. For the first time ever, I'd have more people reporting to me and leading strategy, and it was a growing company and it seemed really interesting. It was right up my alley in the automotive space. So I accepted the offer. I left Detroit and moved to Chicago, the suburbs of Chicago, right into the pandemic. Ooh. Hard on the brakes. There we go. And I moved out there, had no friends or anything, and it was a very, very interesting experience. But I got to learn so much over 4 years there as a director of marketing. The company, I think it was like around 45, 50 employees when I joined, just moving into a new building, and the company was just growing and growing. So my team went from 3 that I inherited to, when I left, I think there were 10 people on the team, not counting myself. So it was the company like tripled in size, and it was a fantastic company. The culture, the atmosphere, the opportunities, the challenges, and so forth. But that really cemented my career path and not ever being an engineer anymore and just thoroughly being marketing. I think, like I just mentioned, having a technical background really did help make it possible for me to succeed in that career path. There's a couple different things. Everything all adds up as you advance in your career and you gain more and more experience. The technical background allowed me to at least understand when the engineers were talking. Sometimes when engineers talk, regular people, you're like, is that a different language? What? Same thing happens. Anybody who's like highly technical and specialized subject matter experts, right? They have their own speak. My fiance Angel, she is in the healthcare space, and when she talks about these various things, I am just like, I don't know what those words are. You are so smart. I don't understand. I think I now know what it's like when me and my friends are talking cars and you don't know what we're going on about, right? I've learned gradually, right? But having that technical background allowed me to at least contextualize and relate a little bit and translate that to something that my marketing team and or to the customer we could present in a way that was digestible, lowering the barrier of entry, right? Some of this stuff is so complex, whether it's the tuning software, the diagnostic software, the acronyms, the different types of control modules, the vehicle codes, all these different things, you have to explain it to a customer in a way that makes them want to buy your product and then use it and integrate it into their life in vehicles. So I think having that helped, but also doing the YouTube stuff for so long gave me the ability to do public speaking, present in a meeting, present on camera. That stuff's pretty important when you're in the marketing space, right? If we're at SEMA, at a trade show or whatever it was, or meeting a customer, and we needed somebody to do an interview or open a reveal of a new product or so forth, or do a video talking about one of our new products, I was able to do that in a very comfortable way, whether it was synthesizing all the information, all the different nuances and the requirements of a product, and understanding how to present them, and then just regurgitate it to the camera and speak about it with some passion and emotion and charisma and so forth and excitement. It came very naturally, and it was much less intimidating for me to be on camera or to speak in a meeting or present to a bunch of people. So that really, the YouTube aspect thing set me up, because what is YouTube? You're just spending hours and hours of your life talking to a camera, and it is actually really good practice. So I think those two things are what really led me to be able to build a career and job in the marketing space. There is so much gravel on the road. Oh my gosh, just tilting the underside of this Maserati. That is a downside of the roads out here. You gotta have PPF, because these roads can get real dicey with the rock slides and so forth. You gotta be careful out here. But take a look at the scenery. We'll take one little break from my story about engineering and marketing to take a look at this view. The mountains, the sun is setting, and this Maserati isn't that bad either. I put the top up because I was getting a little bit cold. Let me toggle into Corsa. Have a little bit of fun. Ooh, transmission gives you a bit more of a kick too when you're in Corsa. Icy. I don't think it's going to be icy right now. It's still at least 60 degrees out. Woohoo! So, what were some of the other thoughts I wanted to talk about on this topic, engineering to marketing? Something I've discovered is you can go from a technical background into marketing and sales, that type of stuff, much more easier than the reverse, right? I don't think if you go to school for marketing, you wanted to go be an engineer, that's a much more difficult jump. It gets even more extreme. Like if I go to school for marketing and then want to go be a surgeon, you can't just do that. So schooling is important for some very specific things, right? I don't want to be a self-taught lawyer per se. You have to go through the various steps in law school and pass the bar and all those kinds of things, right? If you want to be a surgeon, you kind of got to go through those steps. But marketing is much more broad, and if you have a technical background, you can succeed in those fields, because it takes just a twist in the mindset to be more product customer focused, being able to view it from that lens. And marketing is also really broad in terms of the different things that are being done. Like on my team, there are people we had web development, there was the creative side, so content creation, right? Video, you have graphic designers who do everything from the packaging to release like launch assets and so forth. What else did we do? Photos, of course. We did everything else from events to sponsorships to influencer content to, let's see, I already just mentioned events, trade shows, website, copywriting, emails, packaging, branding. There's so much that goes on in marketing, and if you can find a niche in there, there is something for you. And I don't think I could ever go back to engineering. I was actually joking with my dad the other day about, my dad has a PhD in engineering. All three of his kids, so me and my two brothers, did some form of engineering. I went to school for mechanical engineering. My younger brother went to school for computer science engineering, but also dual majored in music performance. Ended up going to Juilliard for his master's in music performance. He did work with his comp sci degree. He used that degree for a little bit, but now he's full music major, right? Percussion performance, doing all those fancy things in New York City. And then my youngest brother finished his biomedical engineering master's degree, but he wants to go to law school and I think do patent law. So we all had some sort of engineering degree, probably because our dad has an engineering degree. We're like, yeah, we want to be like dad, be an engineer. And then eventually go try and go, actually, we're going to all do something else. So at least we all used our engineering degrees in some sort of capacity, but our careers have all taken us into very, very different paths. And I think it really does show that you don't need to pigeonhole yourself into something, right? Not everybody decides exactly what they're going to do with their career when they're in middle school and high school. Just think about when you're in 6th grade, when they ask you, what's your dream job in the future? What do you want to be when you grow up? I wanted to be a Lego master builder. I wanted to go design Lego sets and build Legos for the Legoland, right? And then I realized, actually, maybe that's not going to be something I'm going to do, and it changes. But the same thing applies even when you're going to high school, going to college, graduated college, you start your career. You're not locked into something. As long as you want to keep learning, keep trying different things, take risks, and be willing to be flexible and change your mindset, you can do so many different things. Look at me now. I guess the final moral and conclusion of this aspect of the story is I don't work as a director of marketing anymore. I want to do a whole separate other video on what it was like to quit my job and how I made that decision and how you can go through the steps to decide, is it the right time to quit your job to try something and you're going to take that risk. But I left HP Tuners, my full-time role. I resigned and I wanted to give a shot to doing my own thing. So I guess I went from engineering to marketing to full-time content creator, self-employed. So it's been a year of doing that now. And it's been pretty awesome. I mean, it's, wait, what day is today? See, that's the thing. I lose track of the days of the week. I think it's Saturday, so I guess that's relatively normal. But it could be a Wednesday, and I could be out here driving a car, filming, doing content, spend all day at home doing some research, planning, emails, budgeting stuff, while in California, because I have that flexibility now. So it's pretty awesome. I am very, very lucky. So thank you to every single person who's watched my videos over the years that has made this possible. Look at that sunset. That's beautiful. So to summarize this rambling, long story, engineering to marketing, how it happened. If I really, really think back on it, it was starting to do YouTube that made it all possible, right? It literally started as I was starting to be on the path of actually becoming an engineer. Freshman year of college at the University of Michigan, Parker and I started doing car videos. We did my dad's Ford Fusion, my mom's Ford Flex. Those are the first two videos we filmed together back in, that would have been 2014, I think. So long ago, right? And because I did those simultaneously, I always had that mindset of like, I'm not just gonna have a 9-to-5 and not do anything else. So whether it was trying different things like YouTube or keep on learning and doing all those different things, it just kept opening the door. What are some other steps I took to make this possible? Well, the education part, I did have an opportunity at the University of Chicago Booth School of Business. I took one of their courses. It was a new product innovation, development, and implementation, like strategies. So that was also something else that I was like, no, this is cool. Getting to learn how new products get brought to market, reading all these case studies, Harvard Business School case studies, all these different companies and how they were succeeding and growing and so forth. So it really started to make me think about things at a higher level. Oh, these roads are just so much fun. No traffic all the way out here. I'm in the middle of nowhere. No phone signal. Just a Maserati. A beautiful sunset. What? Oh, no, cancel. I wasn't talking to you. I was talking about you, Maserati, not you. Cancel.
What can I help you with?
Nothing. Cancel. Oh, I can just press that.
Canceled.
That's the thing with some of these new cars. The amount of time I spent yelling at cars like voice assistants is hilarious. I think the first one was the Ferrari SF90. I kept triggering on the steering wheel by accident, and I was just like yelling cancel at the car for like a good 5 minutes because it kept triggering on the steering wheel. I know Mercedes always perk up too when I accidentally say Mercedes while I'm driving the car. And look at this. This Italian car that starts with an M is also listening to me. So, engineering to marketing. Very, very interesting path. No regrets whatsoever. And if 10 years ago you asked me what I'd be doing, my dream and my goal was to become a chief engineer at an automotive company. I thought that was the coolest job. They're the guys and girls who get to lead a program and really influence and shape and drive what another vehicle that comes to market is going to be like, right? I wanted to work hard as an engineer, and I was dreaming about one day buying a Mustang GT. I've always been a Ford person, probably because my dad took me to take a child to work day, and the Ford Mustang was the cool sports car that they had sitting there. And I always dreamed about owning a Mustang someday. And I was like, if I work hard, I remember looking at prices like a new Mustang GT is $35,000. And if I can't afford it new, after 2 years, it'll depreciate to maybe $25,000, and I can go buy one. How much would it be to finance? How much would it be to buy, and so forth? And your dream job can change and evolve over time. I think right now I do have my dream job. When I was doing the marketing role, that was a dream job. I got so many cool opportunities from that experience. I can hear a little bit of turbo spool actually. I'm just in sport mode right now. This thing is quick. Twin turbo V6 making 542 horsepower, 479 pound-feet of torque. This is the Trofeo model. The convertible Grand Cabrio only comes in Trofeo or all-electric Fagori trim, whereas the Gran Turismo has a base Modena trim. So I have spent time with the regular Gran Turismo, the coupe. That one, the yellow one, had a $30,000 paint job. This one is a little more normally optioned. These things are fun to drive too. They changed character a lot when you change the drive mode. So comfort, this thing calms down and becomes like a softer, like easily daily drivable luxury convertible coupe. When I picked this up, when I flew into LA yesterday, got stuck in 2.5 hours of LA traffic heading up north, and it was not terrible in this thing. It was very, very stop and go all the way up the 101. But then when you're in a fun back road like this, you toggle it into sport, and it wakes up, right? I'm gonna soften the dampers. I'm doing a separate vlog with this Maserati, but if you want to know more about this new platform, I do have the Gran Turismo Trofeo vlog and review up on the channel. So, this is Sunset Drives. As you see, the sun is setting, it's getting darker. I'm gonna try to do these, I think, weekly, and pick a topic to talk about. So that was today's topic. I apologize if it was a little bit distracted, I guess random wandering, but it's just story time. Kind of like a one-person podcast of sorts. And I hope when you're watching this, you can glean something of value or of interest, or learn a bit more about what I've experienced. If you have any questions, absolutely feel free to reach out to me. I have plenty of ideas, right? One of them, there's a whole list that I've already started to jot down. Some are vehicle-specific focus, some are more fun and casual, some are business, right? Like what it was like to quit my job, everything that went into making that decision. Another one I want to do is what it was like doing full-time job, a 9-to-5, and a YouTube channel. So a lot of people try to do that. It doesn't have to be a YouTube channel, it could be another side hustle, but how to balance that, and the techniques I discovered, and the challenges and the cool opportunities that would come from it, right? How it was possible to work a full-time job and have my channel for so long. A video on that I think would be fun, one of these Sunset Drive chats. Some fun ones, like what it was like to go to Dubai. I've gone to Dubai a couple times for business, and Dubai is a crazy, crazy place. A lot of people ask about what it was like to get to go to Dubai, so that'd be fun to talk about. I'll overlay like some random pictures and stuff from my experiences to kind of add to it, so it's not just you watching me drive a car nonstop. But what was some other ones that I had? I'm blanking now. Burnout, how to deal with burnout. There's a whole long list of different ideas. I will get to those, but I'm going to turn around, I think, because we've gone pretty far. Go ahead and pull off slowly here. So comment below what you think. These videos are supposed to be a little bit on the longer side, and I thought it would be cool to try out the capabilities of this camera that's currently stuck to my forehead as we get into low light. We'll see where this series takes us. If you have any specific suggestions, recommendations, questions you would love for me to answer, comment below. And again, special thanks to Tedward. I'm kind of taking inspiration from some of his video formats. I thought it'd be a lot of fun to try out and different from what I've done in the past. I have some different ideas. I'm also fiddling around with a YouTube as I'm working on different things for 2025. So exciting things to come. Keeping busy as usual. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.